G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to go through the NBA schedule breakdown from week 10 to week 16. Reasons why it's that specific, because if we look at the top right corner here, it's 7 weeks from 10 to 16, 7 weeks from 17 to 23. It's pretty even. So how I'm going to go through this, I'm just going to scroll down on my notepad here that I've kind of taken notes probably over the past week or two, just slowly chipping away some things that I've noticed, schedules that are pretty good. Hopefully you guys do like that. I'm going to move my record button up here. Not that you see it, but yes, just so I can see it for myself. So let's get into it. So we've got games in total. So from weeks 10 to 16. So not including week 9, which is this week. But I would like to mention that sometimes like week 9 will be mentioned. So unfortunately, it's week 9 already. The day I'm recording this is on Tuesday night. First game, as you can tell over here, has been played today. But hopefully you kind of already chose the guys that I've kind of probably said in this. So as we can see, games in total, if you want to pause and stop and see how many games in total all these guys are playing, these are the games that each team is playing. The Stars, I've got a key at the bottom. Denver plays the most with 28. Detroit and Orlando play 23, which is the least. But we can get to Orlando in a tick. So there's some things to note. So the lesser games don't necessarily mean a bad run. So what I mean by that is, except for Orlando and what's their face, Detroit. So we can look at Dallas, for example, who are playing 24 this week. They still have like 2 games here where they play for, this is going 16 into 18, which is from week 17 to 23. But, they still have some okay runs going into the year. Like this is an okay run at 3, 4, and 4. So it doesn't mean that it's all bad in general. I want to say Sacramento have low amount of games. No, 25. Toronto, they're a good example. Let's scroll. So for example, they've got quite a few 3 games. I've traded Scotty Barnes. If you've checked out my video on Monday night, but they have a good middle week where they have 3 4s in a row. So if you're desperate for players and you can't think of anyone, then Toronto's probably a team you could go for, but then you probably want to get rid of them towards the end of the schedule here because they play 5 3s in a row. But maybe picking them up in round or week 21 is probably the best idea. So hopefully that makes sense with that. So best runs. I think everyone's talked about it. I talked about it on Monday. Denver have easily the best run going from that week 8 blip that I like to call it. They play 6 games in a row where it's 4-game weeks. Then they play a 3, then a 5. So I brought in Jamal Murray. We can have a look at some other guys. It's not too late to bring him in next week if you didn't bring him in this week. So we can have a look at Denver guys here. So this is another thing. There's going to be some players injured. I know Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, who are in their starting lineup, are injured. So more opportunity, more usage for Jamal Murray. Whereas Jokic just scores 45 anyways, which could sometimes mean we could go for a Bruce Brown or a Tim Hardaway Jr. just to fill the minutes for Brown. And for starting power forward, we've got Peyton Watson as well, who did score a nice 26 points. Cameron Johnson with a 24 at 9.7 mils, pretty decent. So you kind of want to look for those guys as well. So they're the only team playing. In here it says 5 weeks, but it's actually 6 weeks in a row. Utah have a good schedule. We can have a look at some players there. Where's Utah? They're right at the bottom here. So they'll have 4 this week, 3 next week, but then they're one of the few teams that play 4 in a row. I know New Orleans plays 4 in a row as well. And to be honest, it's really not much else. So after round 10, that's 10, 11. So after round 11, it's probably an okay idea to go for Utah guys. So Markkinen didn't play last week, but they've got four this week. Keontae George has been in some really good form recently. Yusuf Nurkic at 10 mils, not too bad. He had a 29. So yeah, and then last week Kevin Love had a decent game. He scored a 33 game, which is okay, considering that they only played two last week. But yeah, so I mean, there's really not much options there. You could go, oh, excuse me, Collier or Walter Clayton Jr., just depending on who's got that backup point guard role. It's to my understanding, it's not very easy to predict there. We can look at New Orleans and Portland. So these these teams are including round 9 as well. Where am I going? Portland and New Orleans. So obviously, I would think a lot of people would have Derek Queen or still have him. Zion's been coming off the bench, which is interesting. I don't know if he came off the bench today, but I just find it interesting to see that he's been coming off the bench, and it's they're on a 5-game winning streak, which is pretty good. Shaden Sharp is at 11.2 mil, Klingon at 12, so they'll definitely rack up you some good points from now and 3 weeks onwards. Trey Murphy, he's been in good form. Same with Sadiq Bey. Danny Avdiha, I mean, I think I'll be going for him next week. Kind of talked about it last week when it comes to my trades for next week, or when I say last week, on Monday. I'll be trading Kate Cunningham to Danny Avdiha. And I don't mind that he scored a 20. It's a little not concerning. It's never really concerning, but it's not the end of the world that he's scored 20, but it's also not because I don't want him making money because he has an achievable break even as well. I think it's 106. So he's got 3 games to score 96. So he'll either lose a little bit of money or just hit break even. Sorry, I've gone a little bit of a tangent there. Yeah, you probably don't want to go for Fears unless he gets a good run. Jordan Poole, don't know what's going on with him. He plays 4. He's going to lose a lot of money. Maybe if injury happens to Fears or just a couple of other guys, he might be okay at around 8 mil and just start shooting the ball all the time. There's really not many options. So from this New Orleans Portland, I think number 1 is Denny Avdiha. By a long mile. A lot of people already have Queen. Probably a bit too late to get him now because you're 6.1 mil behind. Zion's not the worst idea. You're just going to be concerned about his injury history. Klingon as well. I feel like it'd be a good flex option if you can't downgrade a guy to 12 mil. I reckon he's not too bad. But yeah, those are New Orleans and Portland guys. 76ers from week 13 to 16 as well. So you could target Maxi. Because they play 3 4s and then a 5, which is pretty good. You could also target Philadelphia in week 11, which is in 2 weeks. So not too bad. We can go on to the 76ers here. There is Philadelphia. They obviously haven't played yet today. So Tyrese Maxey is a pretty, what's the word? A pretty obvious pick for that time period. I think the plan is as well, you kind of want to capitalize in this week 16, your 5 gamers, because it's only 4s and 5s, and the only 2 3s are Boston and Toronto. So you don't want to go with them an equivalent to a 2 gamer for that week. But there's really not anyone, in my opinion, that's jumping out to me other than Tyrese Maxey. Maybe if Jared McCain gets good. Drummond's been in some interesting form as well. Joel Embiid, imagine if he was still in his great, MVP form that he was in. It would have been nice to have him at 14.8. Because if you told me that 5 years ago, then I'd be like, everyone get him. But that's for the 76ers. And then Houston, here we go. It's supposed to be weeks here. Houston and Memphis. Memphis and Houston. Play 4 weeks with 4 games too, but it goes into 17 and onwards. So Memphis started in 14, finish in 17, and Houston's run is actually probably, I would say, close to the better ones as well. With I'm looking at other teams, Boston, Detroit, going from where am I looking? Probably from 13 onwards. Is that the right team that I'm looking at? Yeah, that they're probably up there as well. Um, so they've got a really good run. Obviously, having this early season muck up schedule with 2-3-4-3-2-3, 4-3-3-3, 4-4. So, it's not great, but now we could probably bring guys like Shengun and Kevin Durant wouldn't be too bad of an option. It's already lost 1.7, so it's not like Kevin Durant at 16 mil is not too bad. Ja Morant's lost 1.6 mil as well, which, I mean, if he picks up some good form around that time, it would be great to pick him up. Same with Jaren Jackson Jr. Disappointing he scored a 13. I know he was a bit of a topic of conversation when bringing guys in this week. Currently, wouldn't bring in any Memphis guys because they play a 3, 4, then a 2, then 3. But afterwards, they're not bad to go for. So I reckon Jaren Jackson Jr. could be on my radar as well. Santi Aldama, now that there's about 8 injuries going on in Memphis, including Ja Morant and Edie there. To Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., Clark. So you could go, it's probably a bit late now. I probably should have jumped on the Cam Spencer train, but he scored an 18 against OKC. He's got Utah, Milwaukee, and Washington, so a pretty easy schedule onwards there. I know a lot of people got rid of Coward, but if he picks up some good form, then maybe you could bring him in again. But there's not really anyone else, I'll be honest. I've brought in Prosper because there's no one else I can really think of bringing in because everyone else is injured. How much is GG Baxton's lost 700k down at bottom price. But also Amen Thompson is 14.5 mil as well. So if he can get like an average of 25, 100's pretty good for a 14 mil guy. Worst runs. Let's look at the worst runs. It is Detroit and Orlando. Yeah, look, not great considering that I have Cade Cunningham as one of my guys in the team at the moment. Let's just go by live points. So Jalen Duran, why am I speaking like that? You should be going for them. These are the guys we want to avoid, I'll be honest. A lot of people probably brought in Banchero, which, to be fair, their early run, I've got it in notes as well with good start, middle, and end. But in overall runs, I think Orlando's got the worst because you've got 4 in week 9, and then you've got 2 more 4s, but then you've got 2 and 2, which isn't great. And then a bit of an inconsistent run, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and then 4-4s right at the end to cap off the season. So I think if you are going to go for Orlando guys like Paolo Banchero, you've got to make it a 3-week play because of the back-to-back 2-game weeks. So be aware of that when you bring in Orlando guys. And Detroit, we can have a look. So after this week, I will be getting rid of Cade because they go into a 3-3-2. I was saying before, I might trade him into Denny of Deha as well. Other guys that could be a conversation who start their 4-game weeks. Chicago, Charlotte, hell no. So it might be Denny, honestly. No one from Utah. There's not really a good run starting at week 10. I'll just double check because it's all either in the middle of their 3-4 weeks. Another Denver guy I'm probably not going to get. Like the only other team, Chicago and Atlanta, really, they play 4-4. So that's my point is that there's really not much to go for if you want a really consistent run to use less trades. But I think Cade for me will go straight to Denny of Deha. I just need to get rid of him in game week 13. Could be a player to a Miami player, potentially. Who knows? Or a team that, like Philadelphia, that wouldn't even be too bad. I could be trading Denny of D into Tyrese Maxey, who has that 4, 4, and 5. So it's good that some of these schedules will line up really well together. So that's enough from Detroit and Orlando. So I would avoid them. I would avoid Orlando after maybe next week, and then I just avoid Detroit just in general. Um, Boston, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Chicago, OKC, Orlando, Sacramento, Toronto, Washington are teams who do play 3 weeks in a row with 4 games. The rest are 2 in a row of the most. So we've already mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 minus 1, 15. So half the league has the run of like going 2 as their maximum, which is a bit unfortunate because you can't really plan. You can't really plan a really consistent schedule. So if you're going to go for guys, you've got to time it right and go for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams in the future, minus Orlando, or Denver, New Orleans, Portland, Philadelphia in the back end of the week, Houston, Memphis. So you kind of want to go for that. Week 16, Boston, Toronto have at least 3 games in the week. The rest of the league has 4 or 5. So we were talking about this week 16 one where Boston and Toronto. I'd hope that you don't have Scotty Barnes until then because they have a really rough stretch with 5 game weeks where they play 3 in a row. Sorry, what am I trying to say? 5 weeks playing 3 games in a row. Then they go to a 4, then back to a 3. So it's probably one of the worst schedules overall, especially from the schedule breakdown 10 to 16 to schedule breakdown 17 to 23. So, but if you've got Boston guys, definitely a guy like Jaylen Brown can go into, if you have enough money to trade up to like a Jalen, or maybe not Jalen Johnson because they don't have a good schedule there, but looking at teams like the Lakers, so potentially Luka Doncic is a pretty good play with a 5, then 4 and 4 the weeks after. Same with Milwaukee, so Giannis is probably not a bad idea as well. Brunson or Cat. OKC, so Shea, but he goes 4 3 threes in a row, 4 3 4. Philadelphia, they have 5 3 3 5, 3 3 4 4. So you've got to look at it really thoroughly who you want to go for. If you want to trade Jaylen Brown for someone else, if you've got him. Now let's get into the good start, good middle, good end. And I've got this section, inconsistent schedule, kind of poor as well, teams. So realistically, LA's schedule could have been in the worst runs list because they have off the 2, they play 3, 2 more 3s the next 2 weeks. They do play 5, but like you could be trading into, I guess, Doncic. So who could you trade? Could trade. I was going to say Denny, but there would be no point. Who could you trade that goes into like you could go from Paolo Banchero or someone from Orlando to, or Kate Cunningham as well if you've somehow kept him longer, to Luka Doncic, who does have 5. Trying to look at some other teams. See, I might be getting rid of Donovan Mitchell soon, looking at the schedule they've got, because they play 4 this week, 4 next week, then it's 3 3 4 4 2 5, which isn't too good. So it could be a play of trading Donovan Mitchell to an early Luka Doncic, but at the same time, I'm getting sick and tired of having Luka. I think this is the second time I've traded him in and traded him out. And I think that's the last, unless like the Lakers are just, leaking losses to the back end of the season. Other teams, Milwaukee as well, have 2 in that same week, which is really rough. This is a really good way of checking. Shout out Arson Dragon on Twitter. This is his schedule breakdown of like who plays what weeks. Atlanta, Golden State. We'll just do the inconsistent sketch at the start. Atlanta, Golden State, Miami, Milwaukee, and San Antonio. So I've put that down. All of this is 30 teams, by the way, except for, oh no, all of them, all 30 teams here. So I've kind of broken it down in obviously to four. I would probably, if you don't have guys like, I'm thinking of Jalen Johnson or some other Atlanta guys, like Steph Curry, for example, Luka, I know he's been injured, and same with Reeves. I don't know if there's any other Lakers guys you'd be going for. Like Miami, I probably wouldn't be liking too much. Milwaukee and San Antonio, the same. Because it's just a little bit inconsistent to my liking. Where, I mean, San Antonio has 2 4 games, but yeah. Good start. So we'll talk about at the moment. So this is for next week onwards, not counting week 9, except for OKC and Orlando. So Charlotte, you're thinking of LaMelo Ball if he stays healthy. We can have a look at that actually. Yep, he has been playing. So LaMelo Ball, 13.2. You just need to make sure that he's healthy. Conker Nipple, he's been on fire as of recent. Don't know what he did this game. Some of the other guys have done all right. There's not really much else option, I'll be honest. So it might be the LaMelo Ball train that you take if you have to go with a Charlotte guy. Chicago, we'll just do everyone, I guess. Denver. No, we'll just do it one by one. Chicago, so in the early run starting next week. If you don't have Josh Giddey, it's fine that you don't have him this week because they only play 3. I've got him because I wanted him to play 3 last week. So, not end of the world, but he plays 4 next week. Other guys to be going for, Martis Buzelis, he's been on fire. He might make some money for you. Kobe White, if he can pick up some good form. And it's really not anyone else, I'll be honest. Let's go into Denver. I think we've talked about it already. If you don't have Jokic, which would be a little surprising to me considering that he should be one of the more owned guys and you should be never trading him out, even though they have a 2-game week at the end of the season. I think you need to get him now compared to anyone else, I reckon. So do get Jokic at all costs because he will be your auto captain up until week 16. So it'll be good. I've already brought in Jamal Murray, so no need to worry for myself. But it's also never too late, really, for this Denver team. I think the latest you can pick him up is round 12, but you're going to be losing on a lot of points if you don't go with him. He had a 30-point SuperCoach game, which is pretty good. Other guys to look for at mid-price as well as Peyton Watson, Cam Johnson. Now that Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon's out, I don't know how long they're gone for, but those are some options you can go with. Next team is New Orleans. I think we've covered them pretty well before, but Derek Queen you probably all got or had. There's really not much option, so I probably wouldn't be pushing New Orleans. There's other better options like Denver and Chicago. We've already touched on OKC and Orlando, but we've already touched on Orlando, not much as OKC. So I think the time to go for OKC and Orlando was this week. Probably a little bit too late to go next week, but at the same time, OKC, 3-3. They play 3-4 games, 3-4. Like Shea is actually not too bad to play just on his own. The guy that I will be looking at soon, if he doesn't get a good score for the next week or two, or just in general, Jalen Williams. He's a guy that I reckon will rack up some good points, but if he doesn't, he might be a trade target if he gets some good form. Other than that, I think a lot of people have already traded AJ Mitchell. He's made his money. Thinking of other people as well. With Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Hartenstein, Aaron Wiggins, Caruso not playing. Like, these are a lot of injuries for this OKC team. So if you don't have Shea for this week, it wouldn't even be a bad idea to go from next week. If he doesn't even get his break even, which is 148, I'm pretty sure. But to be fair, at this rate, he might hit it with a 45 in today's game. I think it's still a worthy investment because of the schedule afterwards with a 3-4, 3-3-5. It's not too bad. And we've already talked about Portland. There's really not much to really talk about other than Denny Avdija. I reckon Klingon, if Shaden Sharp get some good form. I reckon he's not too bad either. So those are all the good starts. Good middles. I think we're just going to make this quicker. All right, we have got Brooklyn, Cleveland, Dallas. Not what does G and B stand for? Uh it's not. I think it's not good, not bad, not good or bad. Well, we can talk about Dallas real quick. Sorry, don't even know what I'm talking about. So they play 4 this week, and then they've got 2 3s, 2 4s, 3 3 4, 4 4. Well, it kind of depends as well with Flag. So when do you want to get rid of him? Because he's been putting up some good form. He's a guy that will be like at his absolute best when it comes to his price. Would probably be around 13 mil, I reckon. So it depends. How long do you want to wait and just milk his cash to grab him? Anthony Davis, I probably wouldn't trust just because of his glass house of a build. Clay probably wouldn't touch. There's not many Dallas guys I talk about. Well, I want to talk about. Well, Cleveland was also in that conversation as well. I think I'm probably, yeah, I'm talking about. Oh no, that's they don't have an amazing. Like it's not amazing. When I say good start, sorry, good middle, I probably meant like they play a 3 and 4 4. But I think definitely better is Brooklyn. Where am I looking at? Denver, I probably don't need to do. Phoenix, Houston, Sacramento, Toronto, Utah. So these guys, when I say good middle, weeks from 14, 13, 12, maybe might get 11, might get 15 or 14, but it's generally around this area, this middle area with 12, 13, 14. So guys you can definitely go for. Sabonis is actually out for a while, which is good news. I can talk about Max Renault and oh my god, I've forgotten the what's his face, that Kings like rookie coming off the bench. Uh, it's not Nate Clifford's. Is he too expensive? He might be. Where have I got him? Sorry, I'm now trying to find him. Oh, here we go. Dylan Cardwell. So he might not be too bad either. Played 3 last week. Did Sacramento? Yeah, played 3 last week. Not a bad idea to go for him as he might be like your. He's going to be Sacramento's backup center to Maxime Renault, who I think everyone should be getting because of the no Sabonis thing. So obviously at the start they don't have it great, so I probably wouldn't start him. But if you trade a guy like Flag or Queen within the next couple of weeks, and then it's it's like week 12, I reckon it's okay to start him. Other guys, look, if you're trading in Scotty Barnes, you just need to be prepared to trade him out. Şengün also, I think they've got a good end. Yes, they've also got a good end, according to my opinion. Because they got 4-4-3-4 and then another 4-4s with a 1-3, another 4-4s. So I might be planning to get Şengün towards the back end of the schedule, have him as a DPP or a center power forward for the Houston, like from that Houston Rockets squad. Other guys to mention, maybe Kevin Durant. Michael Porter Jr. has been in some good form as well. Devin Booker's probably not too bad as well. I think they have 2 5s, or am I? No, they have 2 2s. That's what I'm thinking about. So when I mean by middle area, I reckon it's from 14, from 10 to 14 is probably their good run. Markkinen with the Orlando Magic. Excuse me. The Utah Jazz. Sorry, I blanked for like a good minute. Oh god, I've got hiccups now. Good minute. Is there anyone else? Bloody hate how Reed Shepherd just read his cash gen as I trade him, but I was probably trading him anyways. There's probably no one else. I'd say Maxime Renault is probably really good. it's not a really good selection of teams. Like Brooklyn, Phoenix, Sacramento, Toronto, and Utah is not a good like a good amount of players. So it's good that we went by that quick. So let's go with good ends now. So teams that will probably do well towards the end. Got Boston. We'll do Detroit. Houston, let's not do. Indiana, I said pushing it. I know we probably won't be talking about them only because they have a 5 and 4 and 3. So maybe I just have it as inconsistent schedule. LAC, Clippers, that's Miami, Memphis, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Washington, other teams that are good towards the end. So I know Detroit have a nice run home, so wouldn't be too bad to bring a guy like Cade Cunningham back. Tyrese Maxey as well. He's got that 5. He's got that week replaced 5. Yeah, and he plays it twice. So it's actually, I probably would be thinking of bringing him towards that time period. Same with like Jalen Duren is not like a top guy to go for. Anthony Edwards is probably a guy that you'd probably go for. Jalen Brown as well. Kawhi probably would pass. Bede, no. Randall and Gobert, I don't know. Ja Morant, if he gets cheap enough, will be good. Same with Jaren Jackson. Yeah. These are the guys I probably want to go for or target for your good end to the season. So, yeah, just wanted to do that. I think that was all I've got at the moment. Nothing else underneath. Nope, that's spoiler for a video in like 6 weeks' time or 7 weeks' time. But yeah, that's going to be the scheduling. So we'll look back at this. So the way that you want to structure it is you kind of want to go, how many games does my current player have this week? If you think it's comfortable enough to play, then go for it. But you've also got to look at next week. So, for example, if you look at my team here, Cade Cunningham, I know he's playing 4 this week. He's not playing 4 next week. He'll be on the chopping block, unfortunately, even if he does amazing. Donovan Mitchell plays 4 this week and next week. Do I trade him the week after? We'll see. Jamal Murray, and Jokic don't need to talk about. Josh Giddey, I know he plays 3 this week, but then he's got a nice 3 weeks in a row with 4, then goes back to 3 and 4, then 3, 5. Flag as well, he's got 4 this week, then a couple 3s, a couple 4s. I think Derek Queen's got a few 4s as well. Jalen Johnson, he's got 3 this week, a couple 4s later. Same with Kevin Porter Jr., 3 now, a 4 later. I don't know what I'm going to do about this middle area as well. Shea, we don't need to talk about. So you kind of want to look at your team and go, who do I want to target for this week? So, Cade Cunningham, if you've got Cade Cunningham, probably a really nice replacement to go for him is Denny Avdija, in my opinion. And then you move Denny Avdija into a Tyrese Maxey or a Tyrese Maxey or maybe someone from Miami. No, maybe not. So you just need to ask the questions of each individual player. How many games do you have this week, and how long do I plan on keeping you? Jokic and Shea. Doesn't matter how many games they play, I'll be keeping. Would have been Doncic and Wemby and stuff. I don't think go for Wemby until he's like fully fit and healthy and firing. I like San Antonio's schedule, not having a single 2, but also not having a single 5. So I really didn't touch on with them because their schedule's a bit inconsistent with the other ones as well. So that is, I think, the video. I can't really think of anything else. Like I said, ask the questions of each of your players on your team. But I probably mentioned that like 5,000 times. You probably don't want to hear it another time. So let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for tuning in if you've stayed this far as well. It takes a little bit of time and effort for myself, but I get a kick out of it. I really find it fun. I'm happy to really help you guys out as well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you get a better understanding what you want to do for the next 7 weeks. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say, but thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys have a good one. Let me know how you feel about it. Ask me any questions if you need. Um, as I'm recording this, I'll be publishing this on probably Christmas, I reckon. Not that I think many people will be watching it, which is fair enough. Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely week and Christmas if you don't celebrate it. Have a lovely day. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.